Welcome to our first session in the HRM course, which gives an overview of HR and of HR planning. Like I said in my introduction, employees are the lifeline of any business. They are the company's greatest resource, and without them, there can be no company. One way to be sure your business will succeed is to look after your employees. Treat them fairly, manage them well, and provide them with opportunities. Then they will help you to achieve your ideas and to ace your business plan. On the other hand, treat your employees badly or with mediocrity, and they will underperform. They may sabotage your business or even leave. Human resources HR is the umbrella term used to describe both the people who work for a company and the department responsible for managing resources related to employees. Whatever the products or services being offered, the people themselves are the company. One cannot simply exist without the other. People run the business. The business cannot run by itself. The HR function, therefore, should be focused on the notions of people enabling, people development, and a focus on making the employment relationship fulfilling for both the management and employees. Let us see how important HR is in an organization. HR touches virtually all aspects of the employee experience, and it has an impact on a range of business outcomes, including employee productivity, turnover rates, training participation. The major areas that HR covers are strategic management, recruitment and hiring, compensation, employee benefits, talent management, training and development, conflict management, and maintaining compliance. What then is the role of the HR manager or the HR department? HR is a source of expertise on people issues in a business. HR functions enable business to maximize the contribution of people to the delivery of their business goals. So the role of HR is about formulating certain strategies and execution of the same towards the realization of the company's vision. It is about advising and assisting line managers and departmental heads. HR has to be familiar with the functions of the different departments in an organization. So, for example, they have to be familiar with the production, marketing, strategic planning, finance, etc. HR has to ensure compliance with labor laws, and they must keep accurate records. When we are talking about HR, we need to understand that the HR of any business must be planned. HR planning, therefore, may be defined as strategy for acquisition, which is attraction and recruitment, utilization improvement, which is training and development, and preservation, which is retention of the human resources of an enterprise. HR planning is a continuous process based on a plan catered to each company and resulting from the business's common goals. HR planning must not be carried out spontaneously or independently of the company's goals. HR planning is the foundation upon which all HR management activities are built. It helps to link the HR management activities with the business goals. In a small business where the business owner doubles or is double hatting as the CEO and the HR manager, the tasks that I'm going to mention now are going to be carried out by the business owner. So essentially, let us know who does what in HR planning. The company manager is the one who decides the objectives and resources. He sets the direction for HR policies. The HR director or HR manager will do the HR planning and monitor implementation of those plans. He or she has to develop and advise on HR policies. The departmental manager, for instance, a production manager, has to develop departmental objectives and HR needs, and also management of staff competency within the department. HR planning is important because it can improve operational efficiency and increase the profitability of a business. The HR department is prepared for changing requirements because the company should not be caught off guard in the shifting workforce market. The company will be much more faster in adapting to the introduction of automation or advanced technologies. HR planning is important because it also helps the company gain competitive advantage through rapid rollout of new products or going into new markets. The company can better anticipate the need for critical skills during growth phases, and it helps the company be proactive by honing the skills of current workforce in order to move into new areas. There is a process for implementing the HR plan, which involves 6 steps. Step 1 is to assess your current HR capacity. This means analyzing the HR strength of your organization across factors including employee numbers, the employee skills, their qualifications. You look at their experience, age, etc. Step 2 involves looking at the future HR needs of your organization and how HR will be applied to meet those organizational goals. Step 3 will be to identify the HR gaps. So using your HR forecast, you can better judge if there will be a skills gap, for example. Should you upskill existing employees or recruit employees who are already qualified in specific areas? In step 4, after you have assessed your current human resources capacity, projected future HR demands, and identify the gaps, then you integrate your human resources plan with your organizational strategy. In step 5, you will see that you need a dedicated budget for HR. This is to cover recruiting, training, or redundancies. And for step 6, it's about reviewing and adjusting the HR plan. Those are the 6 steps involved in the HR planning process. An important part of a business's HR planning is demand forecasting. What do we mean by this? Simply put, it is finding the right number of people with the right skills at the right time. Forecasting is an integral part of HR planning. It fulfills efficiency and profitability objectives by ensuring the business is not overstaffed or understaffed. Demand and supply forecasting techniques use sales or production projections, as well as quantitative and qualitative assessments for the coming year. Quantitative assessments identify how many and when. Qualitative assessments, on the other hand, identify desired personal qualities and role-related qualifications. For example, a restaurant that has nights with many bookings and large parties and events, and they have other nights where there are few clients. The manager forecasts the restaurant's waiting staff, the bar, and kitchen needs. Also in a factory, the sales, production, and HR managers will work together to address seasonal spikes, new contracts coming in, large orders, or the loss of a major customer or retailer. There are different demand forecasting techniques. These include the Delphi, managerial, regression, Markov, work study, workforce, or labor assessment. The choice of technique or method for a business will depend on the time frame, the size of the organization, and level at which employees have to be brought into the organization. Please note that no forecast can be 100% correct. Let's look at a couple of the common ones: the trend analysis and labor assessment. And these two common ones can be adopted and used by small businesses. Like I said earlier, labor demand forecasting is about finding the right number of people with the right skills at the right time. So when business owners are considering labor demand forecasting, some of their first questions are likely to be: what is our intended growth in the next 3 to 5 years? Will we be developing or expanding our services or product range? What technological advancements may affect what we do? And will this affect our need for different staffing levels? Now let's take a look at the labor assessment method. Labor assessment is really looking at the ratio between turnover and number of employees required to achieve that turnover. So for instance, a paint factory, the production line may require 10 employees to produce 250 gallons of paint. When it's their high season, they may require more employees to meet their production targets. The trend analysis method is one of the quickest HR forecasting techniques. Under this method, HR needs can be estimated by analyzing the past trends and projecting future demand by extrapolating the trend. Trend analysis is more appropriate for an existing business because it requires historical staffing data to make future staffing predictions. A service business, for example, might base future staffing requirements on the number of customers each customer service agent or marketer effectively handled in the past, while a retail business might compare sales volume per sales employee. Let us now look at supply forecasting. Supply forecasting is the process of estimating or projecting the company's future HR needs, which is the demands, and how the company will meet those needs, that is the supply. Supply forecasting measures the number of people likely to be available from within and outside an organization after making allowance for absenteeism, internal movements and promotions, wastage, and changes in hours and other conditions of work. The purpose of identifying future HR supply is to determine 1. The number of employees required for each job. 2. Their knowledge, skills, and abilities. 3. Any other characteristics. Internal and external sources of supply are considered by forecasting supply of personnel. Internally, in terms of transfers, promotions, retired employees, and a recall of laid-off employees. Externally, you'll be looking at agencies, availability of labor force in the market, and new recruitment. Let's look at some HR supply forecasting methods. We have the HR inventory, the succession, the replacement analysis, we have movement analysis, we have the Markov analysis, and the vacancy model. For MSMEs, we will focus on a couple. Let's look at HR inventory. We all know that inventory is a term that is used to count tangible objects like goods and raw materials. In HR terms, we are talking about comprehensively listing down the basic information on all the employees, like their education, experience, skills, age, gender, salary-related data, and so on. It is a vital tool used in HR planning and policy making. It helps business owners and HR managers identify any skills gaps. The other one I'll talk about will be replacement planning. Replacement planning is based on the premise that an organization chart will remain the same over time. It usually identifies backups for all top positions in a company. They are identified on the organization chart and it stops there. All typical replacement charts will list about 3 persons as backups for each of the top level positions and are likely to indicate how far the backups are ready to take over the role of the current incumbent. We're now going to go on to our next session.